The situation with policing in this country is getting so bad that even the woke BBC are talking about it. They even invited police officers and former police officers on their channel to discuss it. Although, this time they were in for a surprise. Oh yes, as we have seen over the last few weeks and months, actually, to be fair, especially the last couple of weeks, we had a number of crises with the police in this country, scandals from their police departments to, of course, the situation in the streets in London and many other cities. But that aside, the double standard of policing, that's still going on. They still attend the pride marches. Instead of actually policing those LGBT marches, they go and dance with rainbows and unicorns. You know, people do whatever they want to do. I don't care. But the problem here is that if you then try to counter the arguments of certain issues, you'll be in trouble. Now, the BBC talked about the policing in this country, and they invited the former police officer who happened to be not woke. And this one caused a bit of trouble for the BBC.
There's lots and lots of dedicated officers, but too many chief constables are focusing on the wrong things. There's almost too much wokery, too much political correctness, too much focus on things that don't affect everyday lives. Last year, for example, Merseyside Police had a big banner saying causing an offence is an offence and had 4 officers by the side of it. Then they had to apologise because causing an offence isn't an offence. And those 4 officers would have been better deployed trying to catch burglars.
Well, he's absolutely spot on. When we've seen the situation in Liverpool, and you've seen over the last few days, a couple of weeks in London, where daylight, you see on Oxford Street and places in central London where people are just looting shops and there's absolutely no policing. But if you say something that someone would be offended on behalf of somebody else in a different continent, then they can actually come and catch you out. The reaction from the BBC presenter was a bit of a problem.
There will also be people actually saying what you define as wokeism is actually an important project to try and make the police force more diverse. There are actually things that need to happen. You want a police force that reflects, for example, the public that it is policing. So I don't quite know what you mean by that, but there will be specific examples. But that isn't going to be the majority of police time, isn't it? Is it?
It's a lot of police. It's a focus. What we have here is a lack of focus. There's a lack of focus on crime.
Now, of course, this was a collection of the moments where he was. It initially started as being a devil's advocate, and that's absolutely fine, being a devil's advocate, but at the end, he just basically expresses his own opinion. Then, it is the majority of the policing that's going towards wokeism, and it's about the focus, and you need to shift the focus, and we have to talk about it. There's a bit of a problem, and at best, it's a bit of a problem, but I think it's getting too late, closer to too late, unless we actually do massive, radical reforms. We're going to come back in half an hour. We're going to tell you about the BBC and Gary Lineker. There's some updates from that, so subscribe to the channel. I'm TC, and we are the media.